a habit that absolutely influences one's success. There will be no objection to the saying that we humans are animals with habits. Whether we like it or not, the habits we have affect our lives tremendously. However, not many people are aware of its influence and how powerful it is. Almost 90% of our daily lives can be attributed to habits. Let's think about it. Most everyday actions are a habit. The whole process of waking up in the morning, washing your face, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, looking at the newspaper, and going to work is habitual. Hundreds of habits are repeated every day. But habits have a greater meaning than just daily life. Habits affect every part of our lives. What you eat, when you eat, what you eat, what exercise you do, how long you do it. Every health-related habit affects our lives, such as how often we do it. Relationships with friends and colleagues are also based on habits. A person's idea itself. Per 1. Schumann's functional relationship with success 013. Have a close relationship with one's habit. The ancient philosopher Aristotle said this. It is a justifiable and theft habit to make virtue. Habits affect the extent of a person's life. Habits are practically driving the psychological mechanisms of the entire organization of society, psychologists say. The common denominator of successful people, good habits. The common denominator of successful people is that they change their most difficult habits in their daily lives based on good habits. Athletes, lawyers, politicians, doctors, businessmen, and salesmen, respectively, but there is a bigger problem in that such important habits are difficult to break. The best people who have achieved success in the field have one thing in common. In other words, why is it so hard to change habits? It's a good habit. This is because habits lie deep in our unconsciousness and are a mixture of unconscious and consciousness. But that's not to say they have no bad habits at all. However, because of bad habits, it is almost impossible to change habits with conscious will alone. There are more good habits than coffins. Conscious efforts always alert and exert their power, only when they are awake. Consciousness can beat unconsciousness only when daily life based on good habits always has a distinction between ordinary people and successful people. Therefore, consciousness alone is one important difference in breaking habits. It's hard. Good habits lead to greater fulfillment of genetic potential. Let's think about it. Successful people are not necessarily intellectually superior to others. However, because they have good habits, they have received more education, acquired more knowledge, and acquired better abilities. Part 1. Diving relationship between habits and success 015. Successful people are not necessarily more capable than ordinary people. However, they have a habit of trying more, practicing more, and preparing more. Successful people are naturally more determined and sing harder than others. However, they only have a habit of perseverance, effort, and more effective, systematically learning and working. 3. It's not about intelligence or talent. A person with a good head inherited a good head from his or her parents, so he or she should be grateful to his or her parents. Intelligence is genetic. Just as a short person cannot increase his height, intelligence cannot be raised. However, if you make good habits, you can get more education and acquire more knowledge. Habits determine the level of practice of genetic potential. Edison, the great inventor, invented more than 1,000 things in his lifetime, including light bulbs, phonometers, and projectors. Edison is indeed a genius. But Edison said it was possible because he had a habit of thinking. Increasing the power to think can expand the brain's capacity and have new abilities. People who don't have the habit of thinking miss the most joy in life. Part 1. Functional relationship between habits and success. 017. As I didn't have the habit of giving up. Edison was clearly a genius, an inventor with great abilities. But he called his success not the result of genius or ability, but of constant effort and will. Edison had no habit of giving up. He spoke thus: "It is the failure who gives up without realizing how close they are to success." Edison attempted 10,000 experiments to find the material closest to the light bulb. Until he achieved such success, he was not a talent, but had other habits that did not give up, and constantly tried. My back. The difference between success and failure is a habit. I see in any organization, or when dealing with something, is there no difference between those who have achieved below expectations and those who have not? People say that those who fail to achieve below expectations are due to laziness. As I will point out, laziness is a bad habit. Laziness is the result of a combination of procrastination, distraction, an inexhaustible view of time, and lack of will. On the other hand, those who achieve more than expected are the result of good habits, such as efficient time management, strong will, and rapid processing. If you look at the lifestyles and habits of those who have achieved below expectations and those who have achieved above expectations, you can immediately see it. It can be said that lifestyle and habits are inherited from parents, but regardless of genetic temperament, the attitude of life is environmentally friendly. It can also be said that it is heavily influenced. Part 1. A Functional Tariff of Habit and Practical Work. 1019. A successful person is a man who has acted continuously. All successful people are silver practitioners. They did not act without direction. They were people who acted continuously with a purpose. Also, one successful person is not necessarily smarter, more intelligent, more working, and more determined. One successful person is a practitioner who has developed good habits, who has moved to more actions, who learns more. They are people who have worked more effectively. In other words, successful people were made to fulfill their potential more with habits and menstruation. In short, successful people are those who have developed a good habit and continuously transferred it to the cloth. In conclusion, habit is the absolute element of success, not intelligence or ability. Graduation. Rejecting it with a book. The and so on.